In this video, I will show you irrefutable evidence of the existence of time travelers. Back to the Future movie, books about time travel, a bunch of fantastic stories on this topic. Why do you think all of this is so popular? Well, I'll tell you, because time travel is real. Today you will see real photos and videos with people from the future.
Damn!
And at the end, you will learn perhaps the scariest and most astonishing story. Enjoy watching! Smartphone in the 90s. Do you ever feel like some people seem to have come from the future? I seriously have that impression. Just imagine only one person was able to predict the outcome of the International Dota 2 computer game tournament in 2017. There's definitely something fishy here, and I've already found a bunch of suspicious and strange footage where people seem to be from the future. Take, for example, the famous fight between Mike Tyson and Peter McNeely. Look at these frames. Doesn't something seem off here? And now look at the person in the background. Doesn't it seem like this suspicious man is holding a real smartphone in his hands? You might argue that many spectators in the front rows take memorable photos and videos at any competition. Well, the strange thing here is that this fight took place in 1995. In the 90s, smartphones simply could not exist physically. At that time, even mobile phones were not very common. Almost all phones were wired, and there were even outdoor payphones where you could make a call for a small fee. It's also important to note that cameras were not well developed in those times. Almost all modern models at the time of the fight were very large in size, so the object in the hands of the spectator is definitely not a camera or a phone. Personally, it seems to me that it's a real smartphone in his hands from which he's recording video. Judge for yourself. On top, where cameras are usually located on phones, there's a black dot. And on the right, there's something glinting and even glowing in the moment, as if the flash was turned on during filming. Honestly, when I was preparing for this video, I was really scared. What if there are people who really know what will happen in the future? We can only hope that such a person will not take any horrible actions. Man with a cell phone in the early 20th century. Well, okay, maybe I got carried away with the time travelers. I still need to continue my story. So, look at this photo. At first glance, there's nothing special about it. Just an old black and white photo from the early 20th century. But take a closer look at the person in the foreground, and, as it turns out, he confidently walks about, holding in his hand something suspiciously resembling a phone. I stared at this photo for a long time. At first, the thought occurred to me that it was a shoot for some movie. Then I noticed the market stall in the background and thought it might be a stylized fair or festival. But when I saw the ancient tram in the back traveling down the road, I realized that this photo was taken 100 years ago. Literally. Also, pay attention to the people. They all wear clothing that further indicates it's the 20th century. And as I've already said, even in the 90s, it was difficult to find a mobile phone. So, in this photo, you definitely see a time traveler trying to make a call to someone. But I don't want to disappoint him. Without satellites and cell towers, it's impossible to make any calls. 1928 and the mobile phone again. Well, it's time for us to move on to more interesting stories. Imagine, it's 1928. Everyone around is busy working in factories. Someone is starting their own business. Someone is delving into science and achieving great heights there. And you are just an ordinary woman who went to the premiere of Charlie Chaplin's The Circus, casually chatting with her friend on the phone. Doesn't something stand out here? Just look at this video. As claimed on the internet, these are real shots of ordinary passers-by. They are all engrossed in Charlie Chaplin's creativity, so they came to see his new work. For us in the 21st century, everything may seem fine. But if people in those times knew about the existence of mobile communication and the ability to call anyone from anywhere in the world, they would surely be shocked. Because with a closer look, it's immediately apparent how a woman in a long coat and hat is going about her business and happily talking on the phone. And there can be no mistake here. Look, in the frames, she is holding an object in her hand, resembling a phone in shape, and at the same time she is talking to someone. You might argue that she's holding a hot water bottle or something else in her hand and chatting with another person on the street, but there's a problem. There's almost no one around the woman. only one rushing man who quickly moves away from Our Lady. Moreover, at the end of the video, we see the woman stopping and turning around. So, she wasn't talking to the passerby. She looked directly at the camera and continued talking on the phone. Maybe this is a time traveler who knew that he was being filmed. And it sounds quite logical. Perhaps the woman did it on purpose so that in the future, people like you and me would sit at home and be scared by frightening facts. In any case, I have only one question. Where can I get such a phone that works without satellites and cell towers? Maybe it's a specialized and very secret military development? Write your opinion in the comments, as it is very important to me. Photojournalist from the future. Now, this photograph is housed in one of the museums in Canada, and it has caused quite a stir on the internet. At first glance, it's just a photo with a bunch of onlookers observing something interesting. What could be wrong with it? Well, the events captured in this photo date back to 1941. Back then, an unremarkable provincial bridge was opened. The photo depicts ordinary passers-by. Or are they not so ordinary? When I saw this photo, I was shocked. Look at this man with glasses. Doesn't he seem dressed oddly? Everyone around is in formal suits wearing hats, and he's in some sunglasses, a printed t-shirt, and holding a professional camera straight from the future. Thankfully, he's not violating the laws of physics and talking on the phone. But still, what is this young man doing in 1941, dressed like that? I even specifically searched for the clothes and accessories he was wearing. Here, take a look. These are ordinary Chinese sunglasses. I couldn't find the exact t-shirt with the same print, although I did find something very similar. Here it is, and of course, our hero's camera. Doesn't it seem like there are too many similarities? The commotion around the photo was so significant that scientists had to authenticate this image. They conducted thorough investigations into retouching and found no traces of manipulation. So if you thought it was photoshopped, you were deeply mistaken. In conclusion, I can confidently say that this photo features a time traveler. Even his appearance points to it. Look at that hairstyle straight from a barbershop. Such styles weren't worn in 1941. Well, at least he only went to the future to photograph the opening of the bridge. What if he had done something worse? Is Putin immortal? While I was digging for other time travelers, I stumbled upon a very interesting article. It claimed that the current president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, is immortal. Well, or he really loves time travel. You might ask, what nonsense is this? And as usual, I'll answer you. Look at the photos. Doesn't it seem to you that all these people in the photos have too many resemblances in appearance? I understand children can resemble their parents a lot. But the difference in dates between these photos is just too great. The first picture depicts an ancient Greek man looking into the distance. Look closely at the contours of the face and head. The shape of the ears and nose is literally identical. Cheeks, smile, everything is the same. Now, in the next picture, there's some merchant who lived almost 600 years ago. He also looks extremely similar to Vladimir Putin. Overall, like all the other paintings and photographs, they all depict people who are literal copies of the president of Russia. This coincidence really scares me. What if this person is truly immortal? How powerful and mighty must he be with all his knowledge? It's frightening to even imagine. But I really hope it's just time travel. Maybe in the Soviet Union, in some KGB department, they invented a time machine and sent Putin there. But what he was doing there, history remains silent about. Another cell phone. I probably annoyed you enough with phones and old pictures, but how else can I prove to you that time travel is possible? One warm summer day, an outdoor photographer decided to take pictures of ordinary passers-by. He was particularly intrigued by 3 girls who were chatting animatedly as they went about their business. True, the one in the middle was distracted by a phone call at the time. You might say there's nothing unusual. Her sweetheart simply called her. Let it be so, but what worries me is the timing of when this snapshot was taken. And it was so long ago, back in 1938. Take a closer look at the picture. She indeed holds some dark and elongated object in her hand. The first mobile phonies were about that large in CZ. Maybe she somehow ended up in the 1930s straight from the 2000s. It's strange that everyone around her seems not to pay attention to this girl. Well, something about this photo doesn't particularly scare me. Perhaps because the girl in the picture seems to be holding a strand of her hair. And rightly so, she could have just been adjusting them. And in a low-quality black and white photograph, it all blends together, making it seem like she has a phone in her hand. In any case, upon seeing this picture, you immediately start to wonder if everything is truly in order in it. What do you think? Is this girl a time traveler, or is she just fixing her hair? Another time traveler caught on camera. I hope I've managed to prove to you that time travelers do indeed exist. The previous photo once again demonstrates that not all sources can be trusted. In my videos, I intentionally double-check the information several times so that you can receive quality content. So what awaits you next is the real truth. Now, take a look at this photo. Several ordinary vacationers are deliberately posing in the frame to get a better shot. Almost all these people are wearing their best outfits that you can find. From the photo, it's clear that all the action is taking place somewhere on the beach. Indeed, a boy in swim trunks, a woman who seems to be entering the water, and a guy in the center of the frame wearing shorts and a modern t-shirt. The weirdest one here seems to be the man in the jacket. But hold on. This shot was taken in 1917 in Stanley Park, which is located very close to Vancouver. And as we've already understood for a long time, in those distant times, nobody was producing t-shirts. They only appeared several decades later. So, a logical question arises. Where did this guy get such clothes? Miracles, no doubt. Marilyn Monroe's future friend. Moving on, I'd like to show you a photo of one of the most beautiful women who ever existed on our planet. Before your eyes is the enchanting Marilyn Monroe, who, as usual, poses wonderfully in front of the camera. We can see that she's standing somewhere in a dressing room, and behind her, presumably, is her friend. But don't you find anything strange about her? Take a closer look. What is she holding in her hands? Honestly, this very much resembles a smartphone from a certain Apple company. White casing, black dots where cameras are usually attached, a power cord. It's like it's really a smartphone. And look at the face of this woman. She's literally taking a selfie. And the most crucial part is that this is by no means Photoshop. It's another fully verified and researched photograph. When the public saw it, everyone was in shock. Time Traveler recorded a video. Now it's time to tell you the most interesting part. Look at these frames. Amazing, isn't it? Two different people with the same tattoo. Many might say it's commonplace, but not so fast. In the video, there are two men. So the younger one claimed that he climbed to fix a water pipe in his cabinet when he immediately saw a white light. He went towards it, found a hatch, climbed into it, and came out in his own house. Just a few decades later. How did he figure this out? He met his older self with the same facial features and communication style. And most importantly, they had the same tattoos in the same places. But what amazes me the most is that this person still decided to record a video and post it on the internet. And then a real craze happened. People couldn't believe that these shots were not fake. There was a lot of noise and debunking. But for me, it's all just noise because I found an article that no one has ever seen the younger guy again. It's like he really went back to his time and continued to live a normal life. Honestly, it gives me the creeps. What if I open my door right now and there I am, just older? And what do? Listen to lectures on all sorts of nonsensey, in general. Pure horror in these time travels. This was a video about time travelers who were caught in photos and videos. Thanks for watching.